Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Friday, which means another crypto interest rates and news update. Today is the 4th of February 2022. And as always, we start by looking at any new coins and interest rate changes. And we've got a few things to cover this week. Firstly, Doge is now available on Celsius network. If I can find Doge here, you can see here 0.5% up to 0.63%, depending on whether you want to get paid out in Celsius token, if you can, if you're an international user, or you just want to be paid out in kind. So not a great rate, but comparable to the base rate on crypto.com. You can get up to 3% on crypto.com on Doge, but that's only if you're staking a big chunk of CRO on the platform and are willing to lock up for 3 months. But Doge available now on Celsius network. The rates on Doge across all the platforms and on Nexo, they're equally kind of poor. So it's something that you may or may not be interested in. And then on crypto.com, we got a couple of new coins. You've got BIFI Finance and TONIC. That's TONIC, the project, and TONIC is the token. And again, they're 0.5. So a lot of crypto.com's smaller altcoins are the same kind of rate, starting at 0.5, going up to 3% for a maximum on a 3 month. And if you are a premium user, so that's if you've got what used to be over 50,000 or 100,000, was it, CRO stake, something like that. It was a very large number, but you can have like this kind of VIP premium membership. You get 2% on top of that, but pretty low rates for everything. But it's nice to see new coins coming to platform. So we got BIFI Finance and TONIC on crypto.com and Doge on Celsius. I have updated also a lot of these coins I've updated Ledden to reflect the new stablecoin kind of prices, and the same with BlockFi. Now, HODLnaut, if you scroll right in this spreadsheet, the HODLnaut rates are still the same at the moment, but they will be changing in the next week or so. So once they go live, I will update those as well. But again, if you see any issues with this, do let me know in the comments below. And then moving on to the token prices. So I suppose the good news is we saw just in the last 2 or 3 hours a massive spike up in the price of Bitcoin. So we've been trading around that sort of 36 mark. We went up to 38, then we had a pullback back down to sort of 36,000, and we just had a really nice spike up to just shy of 40,000 at the moment, so 39,600, so up 6.3% now on the over the last 7 days. That is literally just due to this action in the last kind of couple of hours. In comparison, crypto.com up 5.6, broadly in line. Yield app 7.4, so again broadly in line. But the two standout performers this week are Nexo and Celsius network. Now Celsius has had an absolute nightmare over the last, I'd say, probably year or so. Nexo is performing pretty well, up 23%, but Celsius is the standout performer, up 25.5%. Nice to see some decent price action for a change for Celsius network, but Nexo has overtaken them in a market cap now. Celsius network down to 90, Nexo up to 86 now. And then moving on to a few stories. Firstly, something from crypto.com. So this is a little I suppose a little kind of like freebie or a little kind of a booster or promotion to celebrate the Chinese New Year. So basically between the 30th of January and the 15th of February, if you send these little packets over, so they've got something called a send an e-red packet. So this is something you could do through the app. So you can send basically currency, crypto through to other users through the app, and depending on how much you send, you get these NFTs. So there's 3 different NFTs. There's this Taran, Zio, and Rika. Rika being the more expensive and exclusive kind of one. So if you're transferring between 500 and 2,000, you get Taran. 2,000 and 5,000, you get Zio, and then 5,000 above, you get the Rika NFT. So these are just some of these NFTs that they do seem to be giving away more and more in these kind of promotions at the moment. But the full information about this is on this kind of page. Links, as always, are in the descriptions below, but there are some caveats. You can also get 10% back in CRO, but only up to $5 a month, and that's only if you have an active deposit of 10,000 CRO in Crypto Earn, or 10,000 CRO locked up in the exchange. So there are some kind of caveats. The full rules are on this page, so if you're interested in this, if you've been sending money to people, you can potentially benefit from a free NFT. And moving on to Celsius, this is quite an interesting story, and I'm not going to go into this in too much detail. I am planning to go through Celsius X, maybe do a full kind of like explainer and going through the intricacies of this. Let me know in the comments below if you think that will be of value. But basically, Celsius are going to be integrating a Chainlink proof of reserve to basically unlock cross-chain liquidity with wrapped tokens. So they are going to be allowing wrapped tokens, so initially wrapped Cardano, Doge and Ethereum, which will be available on Polygon. So this is the Polygon Matic kind of network. And this is within the Celsius X, which is the DeFi kind of arm. Now there is a nice little sort of like intro to this kind of like whole kind of process and the feature here. So I would suggest watching this if you are interested in this. I think what we're going to see is probably a far greater integration of DeFi into Celsius's platform. They seem to be the first of these kind of like CeFi kind of platforms to be really embracing DeFi. Now a lot of these platforms are actually generating some of their yield from DeFi. Obviously we saw that with the Celsius kind of Celsius losing some money to kind of like various hacks and stuff like that, and we've seen the same thing on various other kind of like exchanges and stuff like that. But they are utilizing DeFi in order to create some of these kind of returns, and I think Celsius X, which is going to be the DeFi basically arm of Celsius, incorporating a lot of these kind of like additional chains and maybe additional kind of products, higher yields through DeFi protocols and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a real feature of what Celsius is going to be doing throughout 2022. That's, you know, just my personal opinion, but I think there are some fantastic yields on DeFi at the moment, and I think allowing and sort of opening that up to more people who are maybe just involved in kind of CeFi, who are happy to kind of like, you know, just transfer some kind of coins onto kind of an exchange, but maybe don't want to kind of get involved in kind of MetaMask and kind of like liquidity pools and yield farming and stuff like that. I think it will be a really big driver of maybe new users and new revenue for Celsius in 2022. But there's a really good information, full information here, really good informative article on Medium here. Again, a link to this is in the description below, so if you're interested in the DeFi side of things, do take a look at this. And then moving on to BlockFi. So as you can read here, BlockFi selects Bermuda to expand global operations footprint with a new digital asset business license. Now, this is purely a kind of behind the scenes thing, but Bermuda, essentially they're moving all their non-US users to a platform that's actually kind of backed by this Bermuda business kind of license. I got an email, as you can see here, a couple of days ago. So we're pleased to announce that on January the 21st, the Bermuda Monetary Authority granted BlockFi's Bermuda subsidiary BlockFi International Limited a Class F digital assets business license. So basically everybody who's not a US user will be on now, you know, from now actually. I mean, we're the 4th of February now, and this was effective on the 1st of February. So all the services you're getting are now actually coming through this BlockFi International Limited, which is a subsidiary of BlockFi rather than the previous sort of like business entity that they came through. And this is all down to kind of regulation and stuff like that. It doesn't affect the day-to-day operations. It doesn't affect what functionality or anything like that. This is purely a kind of behind the scenes. But it just goes to show, you know, lots of stuff going on behind the scenes, particularly as the US are cracking down a lot on kind of interest accounts and stuff like that. So these companies are sort of scrambling around looking for different solutions to these kind of like problems that are kind of coming up. Obviously we had BlockFi Wallet launching recently, which I imagine a lot of people in these kind of like prohibited states in the US will be moved onto, and now we're seeing more and more of a differentiation between US users and international users across these platforms, just like we've seen in the past with Celsius, the ability to earn in sell and various things like that. So interesting to see these things happening behind the scenes, but I just thought I'd kind of like make people aware of it. It doesn't affect you on a day-to-day basis, even if you're using the platform, but just good to keep abreast of some of these things happening in the background. And then moving on to a yield app. Now this is a really good article as well. This is on their blog, but it's a very a long kind of post, so I won't go through all the kind of details. Again, links are in the description below, so you can read through it in your leisure, but it's just basically a Q4 report. So this covers everything that's happened in Q4 on yield apps. So you can see the increase in kind of like users. So they increased users by 19%, a 40% increase on assets deposited on the kind of platform. We've seen this kind of increase in BTC as well. Obviously yield app is a little bit different because they only open these up from time to time, but they're having, you know, a greater amount of kind of BTC on the kind of application. Now this was something I was a little bit surprised. So we had this big peak in signups in sort of like middle of October, something like that, and then we've had a bit of a kind of tail off. So towards the end of the year, I think probably as the kind of price started to go down again, a little bit of a deterioration in the rate of new user signups. So down well under 100 new signups a day, but 19% kind of growth over the quarter, nothing to be sort of sniffed at. And then I think this is something which is quite interesting, is the amount of stablecoins under management rather by them. So going from just around about $100 million up to $140+ million in the last kind of quarter. I think this is something we'll see a lot more of, and we probably are already seeing through Q1. Obviously we won't see the figures to that till the end of the kind of quarter, but people moving more and more money into kind of stablecoins and just looking for kind of decent yields. So I think that's probably another trend that we'll see a lot more of in 2022. I think the minute we didn't get that kind of like 100,000 Bitcoin and a potential kind of blow off top at the end of last year, beginning of this year, I think people are now looking at slightly longer term. So they're like going, right, I need to be holding more stable coins, looking for kind of like dips to dollar cost averaging and stuff like that. So I can see the amount of stable coins under management on all these platforms going up quite dramatically over 2022. And then there's some more information about product development, the various bits they're doing. Obviously the launch of V2, other bits and pieces, as well as their yield treasury rebalancing. This is their buyback program and a relationship management program. So if you're a high net worth individual, if you've got, I think, $100,000 or more of USD in their platform, you can get a relationship manager. So you can get an individual that will kind of like help you through any kind of like questions or anything like that you have, a more kind of like hands-on experience, a bit like kind of private banking or something like that. And then moving on to their portfolio management and various other bits and bobs that they're doing. So it's well worth an in-depth read. If you are a Yield app user, you can find out a lot of information from, as I said, kind of like what they do in the background to their kind of social media kind of analytics and stuff like that. So yeah, well worth a read if you are a Yield app user. That's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching as always. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Thanks very much for everybody who watched my the crypto passive income video, which I released on Monday. I've decided to do that weekly now, so I'll be doing that every Monday evening or Tuesday morning from now on. It means that I've got a weekly video going out at the end of the week, this one, and then one at the beginning of the week, and then I'm going to be adding in a weekly DeFi video as well, going through the various kind of platforms that I'm using and going over the kind of basics. So it'll be very much a beginner's kind of series. I think next week we're going to be starting with Anchor Protocol on the Terra Luna network, so we'll be going through that next week, and then I'll be picking a different network or different kind of platform every week to go through. But thanks very much for watching. As I said, hope you're keeping safe and well. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. If you can give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. But until then, have a great day. Bye bye.